Hi, subscribe to my channel Shobha Rana for more. So the people who have a lot of fear or a lot of anger or a lot of any emotion, how can they work with this neurology in their brain so that they can control their fear or
So
anger?
I love this question because what you're asking is the practical application of neuroscience.
Yes.
So for the longest time, neuroscience was considered as a theoretical thing. Like there are, so what if dopamine goes up? So what if dopamine goes low? What do I do with that information? Because at the end of the day, I have craving. I want to eat something sweet. I feel like smoking a cigarette. I feel like having a drink. Similarly, if I have anger issues, so what if my amygdala networks are hyperactive? Now, what do I do with that information, right? So for the longest time, it was good to know, but there was no practical application. But now as neuroscience gets more and more advanced, we are understanding how those networks are connected to other networks, like, for example, movement or music. And we are literally being able to see how, say, listening to music or going for a run has a direct impact on those fear networks, on those anger networks. How meditation can help calm those networks down. We are able to see how deep breathing reduces the level of your cortisol and your sympathetic activity. So everything is happening in front of us now. So now it's not just a hearsay, it's not anecdotal evidence. कि किसी ने बोला कि oh just have some deep breathing and you'll be fine. No, now you can see it.
There is a study that has concluded that this particular activity will bring down the activity of this particular nuclear reaction in your mind, in your brain.
Exactly. So right now, neuroscience is at that level where it is confirming a lot of theories that people had about their brains and changing a few other theories.
But why do some people feel a lot of certain emotion? Like, why do some people feel a lot of fear? Or why do some people feel a lot of excitement or craving? Why does that pattern in their brain get triggered or is on trigger so much all the time?
The answer to why does anybody do anything is that because it has worked for them. That's it. So whatever you are as a person, you are because till now in your life, somehow or the other, that has worked for you.
Basically pattern recognition in your brain.
Pattern recognition. So if there is a person who's always angry, it's because anger has worked for that person. Now, whether it has actually worked or he feels like it has worked, but is actually not working is up for debate. But if somebody is a rash driver, they feel that this has worked for me. I always get to where I want to go faster. No problems. It'll only be a problem when he crashes the first time, and that might be a fatal crash. But his brain is not thinking like that. His brain is thinking this is the best way to live. Similarly, people with anger issues, their brain has somehow figured out that pattern that if somebody's annoying me, the best response is anger. And it has worked for them.
So the repetition of that response keeps happening and you become this personality who's always in anger.
You grow into that and they will change the day it stops working for them.
So how does one break out of that? Do you break out of it because of rewiring your neurology with medicines, or do you break out of it because of some learning of more psychology and human behavior and getting into therapy?
So what you're saying is, how do you rewire those patterns? How do you rewire those networks? And both of your answers are correct. You can do it through medication and you can do it through something called cognitive behavioral therapy.
CBT.
CBT. So you are retraining your brain into realizing that maybe this is not working for me.
This is the psychology aspect of it, right?
Correct.
And the one that you talked about earlier, the medicinal aspect of it, that will help you release certain chemicals in your mind that will, hamper the activity of that neural network.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Reduce certain chemicals or increase certain other chemicals to just help you nudge your way in that direction. So I've always maintained that medicines in the right amount, in the right circumstances, can be life-saving. Absolutely, because there are some moments where we are not in control. We may not do what is the best thing for us. In those moments, medicines do make a big difference. But for long-term sustenance, it has to be always associated with some kind of CBT, some kind of behavioral therapy. You cannot rely only on medicine.